Joining me now is Brian Gillett. He's the Managing Director of BGT Developments. We noticed a letter circulating around social media that we are very impressed with, and after reading it, I was quite emboldened and heartened by the text that was contained within it. I believe this is something that the New Zealand public, in the widest sense, needs to be aware of. A man who's making a stand, a business that is not bowing, and as a result, we reached out to Brian, and he was very generous with his time, and here he is now. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you to your audience. Most importantly, thank you to you guys at Counterspin for all the great work you're doing out there. Gee, I mean, real, true investigative journalism, it's a thing of the past. So thank you for all your efforts.
No, you're most welcome. Thanks for the compliments, because a lot of people on the mainstream side, of course, hate our guts, but we're proud of that. Now, you wrote this, as I said before, we're quite heartened by this. When I read it, I almost got like a patriotic yes, you know. And knowing that there's other businesses out there who are making stands, but you're in the States at the moment. You've got companies here, you deal with a lot of suppliers, and the decision you made could have gone either way, couldn't it? It could have gone really good, or it could have been a train wreck. Now, before we get into the reasons why you did it, how it got out there, and things like that, can you do us a favor and actually, from your own words, can you read that document so the people here in New Zealand get to hear from the man himself in his own words, speaking through that letter?
Sure, I'll be more than happy to. And in response to that, it still could go either way, and very much prepared for that, to do the right thing regardless. But more than happy to read you the letter which I wrote. So here we go. We are writing to you to inform you of our policy around New Zealand government's traffic light system, rights of the individual, and our stance on it. It is our policy at BGT Developments to uphold individual freedoms in line with human rights charters and New Zealand's Bill of Rights. Our staff will not be subject to coercion or bullying of any kind. Their jobs will not be threatened by their decision, and we will vehemently oppose any attempt by any authority to use BGT Developments or our employees to achieve their medical objectives. They will make decisions that are right for them and their family. And we will respect that, as we will respect the decisions made by our customers. They will never be asked for their medical history or to justify whether they have or have not had a vaccine. We will most certainly not aid and abet a medical apartheid in New Zealand. Freedom is not a privilege given to you by governments. Freedom is a right given to every human being on earth by God. We know freedoms of the individual are inalienable. They cannot be taken away or removed regardless of the threat, perceived or real. If you hold similar views, please let us know so we can continue to support your company and form closer relationships. If your policy is encouraging or enforcing any of the government-led mandates outlined above, please advise us so we can consider the future between our respective companies. We simply cannot support businesses that do not uphold the most basic of human rights.
That there is something people now, right after you reading that, will have a lift. You know, it'll give them a lift, because at the moment there's so many people who feel helpless, they feel alone, they feel isolated, tucked away in their house, constantly having sustained propaganda coming at them, and basically in New Zealand we've got people suiciding left, right and centre. They're checking out early, they can't stand. There's businesses going under. 26,000 I think in 1 year have already gone. And we know the drive, we know the program that's in place, we know it's depopulation, we know it's Jacinda being a sock puppet to the Great Reset, which is a rebranded New World Order. But here's someone like yourself who just decides, no, that ain't going to happen on my watch. And I think that will encourage other businesses to stop taking that knee and actually make a stand for others, because it's people like you who have been the shield basically for the vulnerable. And on that point alone, you deserve all the credit and accolades anyone could give you. But as you say, you'll probably get an onslaught as soon as this starts making an impact and people start becoming more emboldened. As you know, they always, whoever sticks their head above the parapet first, they're the ones usually to have it sniped. So we want to thank you for doing this. Now, how did the letter come about? Now, you wrote it from the heart, but how did it come about? What prompted you to say, you know what, this ain't right, this is the way it's going to be?
Yeah. So thanks for asking the question. Firstly, those that know me know I have spoken out widely about this for many, many years. And I saw some sort of black swan event coming, to be honest, before COVID even hit, and said there will be something. I picked it as maybe them bursting the derivatives bubble or something like that to bring on some kind of economic collapse and bring people into mass servitude by using the credit issues that people have and people's debt issues. But I did not pick a scamdemic, if you will, or a shamdemic, as I like to call it. But as you know, I'm currently in the United States. Before I left, I knew the traffic light system was coming in. And I've been looking, if I'm honest with you, I've been looking for a fight for a little while. I am a natural born fighter, and I do consider myself in a privileged position to fight. And so it's just been knowing where to land that blow, where to throw that punch. And when this was coming, I knew this was just something I had to do. I actually had no idea it would get the kind of widespread traction it has in terms of just emboldening others, but I knew it was something I had to do. I said to my PA at the time, as we were in transit, I said, I want you to draft a letter that needs to go out to our suppliers so that they are under no illusions what we stand for, right, and how we will protect our staff and how we will treat our customers, and what we will and will not uphold. And so she, as I may have mentioned, there was a little bit of hesitation, let's say, when she was drafting something for me. And she kind of, I guess, thought too much ahead of what might happen when this letter was sent. Now, when I arrived in the States, I finally sort of got settled a little bit. I got the letter from her. I read through it, and I went, oh no. I deleted all of it except for the date at the top, and I sat down in a place called Jonestown outside of Austin, and I drafted what you've read there and what I've just read out to your listeners. And now, because I was in transit, she said she got it, and again, very nervously, she knew what she had to do. It had to go out to our all 80 plus suppliers and creditors, put them sort of on notice, if you will. And she again hesitated, and I said, she goes, well, do you want to sign it? I said, I've got no way of signing it. Get it out now. They need to know this, and they need to know it now. Obviously, some hope that some of my creditors, suppliers would follow suit, and I would get some comfort in knowing they were going to take the same position with their staff and with their customers. So the last button that was hit by her was, the first one was out to our creditors and suppliers. And then the second one was to our Facebook page. She said, do you want to put it on our Facebook page? I said, yes, absolutely. And so she put it onto our Facebook page. And from there, I have been absolutely mobbed. But I will say this is I expected to be mobbed in a different way. I expected to receive enormous amounts of criticism, which, as I said, I guess mentally I was ready for and okay for, because, well, you know what? The pain now is a lot lighter than the pain that's coming or the pain later. So I'd sooner still have a fight while I can have it with a pen and with a computer. Whereas I fear that if we don't stand now, it's only going to be a lot harder later. And so with that, I knew what truth had to go out there. We put it out, and the feedback that's come through has just been overwhelmingly positive, and which has been very nice. I'm not going to say it hasn't been very nice, of course, but I do know what else is coming. I'm under no illusions that the negative will come, but at this stage, people have felt, I guess, uplifted by that stance. They feel like they have a new sense of pride that there are other people out there that are like them, that they're not going crazy, and that they can stand up and stand for something and make the right decision irrespective of what happens next.
Exactly. And you're not just talking with a pen and through a computer. You're actually taking a stand, and this is being implemented. And that's the part that, as I said, is so heartening to a lot of people. Here's a man who stands to lose everything if it goes pear-shaped, but he thinks, you know what? If I don't do it, it's like the old saying, if not me, who? If not now, when? And you've taken it to heart and think, well, I'm going to do it now, and it's going to be me. And hopefully you'll encourage others to stand up and do exactly the same thing. We have businesses starting to do this very thing throughout New Zealand. People themselves as well are now forming Telegram groups and channels of that nature to promote and support businesses like yours that are making these stands. So you will eventually have Jacinda's ideal dream. You'll have a two-tier society, but you'll have those in a parallel society. And I guarantee the one of heartfelt cooperation, togetherness, oneness, and a unified collective over here of free choice and free will absolutely outgrow the parasitical nature of the other side or the other universe, that, you know, the utopia that Jacinda wants to bring out, which is anything but utopia. So, and I think this is part of our whole drive to starve the beast, because that is a beast. It's a parasitical leech that's sucking the very life force out of people like a demonic attack consistently.
It is.
And they are doing nothing but bringing out this new world order bull that no one actually wants, but everyone's too scared to stand. So we admire what you're doing, and I tell you what, it's incredible. Have you had any start to a pushback, any notification from whether it's mainstream media or any governmental agency, little sneaky ones? They start with the bottom leeches and then they get right up to the head of the snake. Have you had any pushback at the moment? Has there been any criticism from your suppliers? Has any one of those businesses, I know there's a lot of questions, but any one of those businesses come to you and said, actually, no, we believe in the mandate, you're putting everyone in danger, and this is real and we're all going to die?
So to your first question, have I had any negative criticism per se? There's been that much social interaction. I haven't been able to check everything, of course, but in the first little while, my PA brought to my attention the fact that one in about, 400 comments was, someone saying, and I did a quick look at his background. He works for McDonald's. Nothing against those that work for McDonald's, but clearly a bit of a pimply-faced keyboard warrior wanted to say that, well, you are aiding and abetting the death of people through a deadly disease, and that's about the worst I've read. And I went, okay, and haven't thought another moment about it until now. So no, like I say, it has been pretty much 99.99% positive. Every single email I've received, everyone, has been not only positive, but if I read to you some of those emails, oh my goodness, mate, they take you from very highs to very lows. Just hearing some of the stories that are coming through about people's hardships. They've all got very personal stories about what's going on in their lives, and I wish I could employ every single one of them, to be honest. Because many of them are facing jobless situations within the week or within days. And that's a harsh reality when they got kids to feed, and some have had multiples. They've not only lost their job, but their child, who is like 18 and about to go to, the school ball, can't go anymore. They can't study what they want to study. They now face a situation where even separate parties set up by their friends are being advised that they can't attend because they're not double vaxxed. I mean, these are young kids trying to start a life, Kelvyn, and their lives are literally being ripped from under them. It's a disgrace. Yeah.
Yeah, we 100% agree with you. We've had the same thing. A lot of people, there's families destroyed. Their families fighting each other over this crap. They can't even enjoy Christmas together because the double vax people, who will no doubt line up for their boosters, will not allow the unvaxxed, as if they're going to infect them who should already be protected if those bloody jabs worked. The mentality, common sense, logic, and reason has taken leave. That's gone. We don't know what happened to that. It's dead.
Long left the room. Mm.
Yeah. Children, as you say, children as well. Yep, as you say, children as well. Peer pressure has got people saying, I want to dance, but I've got to have the vax. These children don't realize they're not old enough to understand the science behind it. Like a lot of people say, go do your research. You no longer have to do the research. It's already done, and it's all bad news. You just got to look at it if you're willing to.
Correct.
And Jacinda is a line sack of crap. And I've called them out as murderers. Called them out as murderers. We know damn well they are. And if the cops got off their ass and actually arrested them, or does it take someone to make an official complaint? Well, I'm making an official complaint now. I'm accusing the Prime Minister and all their minions of reckless disregard for human life, of murder, manslaughter, rack, pack, and stack the charges because they'll all fit. And we know the police monitor the show because of what I say. And I'm more than happy for you to come to me, arrest me for something. I'll get discovery and I'll prove my case anyway. So let's do it. Or actually side with the public for once, do your job and actually protect them.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. What is the rule of law there for if it can't be exercised? Why does it exist? Are we living in lawlessness right now? Or can we rely on the law and say, if you are not above it, then stand trial to some of these accusations? Or even let's start a little bit lower. Why not just show us how you've gone from maybe worth $800,000 net when you entered office to purportedly now being worth some 25 million? Why don't you show us how you made that money while you're in office? Because I thought you were a public servant. Last time I checked, that's serving. That's not somewhere you go to apparently profiteer, but that's what we're seeing.
Yep, and I want to call on all those ethical hackers there to have a look in the banking systems and follow the money trail. Because we've heard rumors like Jacinda Ardern's fiance Clark Gayford has a Swiss bank account which Pfizer's deposited up to 200 million in. We don't know this. We can't prove this yet. We want the facts and evidence in order to be able to bring it out. Just like there's name suppression for drug charges and things like that. We want people to bring us this facts and evidence, show us the reality so we can get it out to the wider public so they can make an informed decision. Because if Jacinda is all about profit, we know the plans in place to depopulate. We know there's a parasitical leech at the very top controlling every little puppet below it, that we need to get that out. We need good people like yourself to be informed, although you're already there, and to be able to stand for the rest of us. I want to call out all ex-police and New Zealand Army who actually should be standing facing outwards to protect the people behind you whose sole job it is to live their life and grow a family and, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness and all that sort of stuff, instead of turning inwards and controlling them. So come on, guys, get together, come out in your regions, and let's start putting these people on trial because Nuremberg 2.0 is absolutely needed.
Absolutely. Here.
So yeah, you're the man. I'll tell you what, it's like I said, I read that letter and I thought, because it was brought to my attention and it was commented, we need to get this guy on. And the best part about it, you weren't able to sign it at the time, but the fact that you just read your letter is better than any signature because here you are in living color.
Yep.
So is there any other parting words you want to get out to the public? Because we've been trying to tell everyone, hey, you're not alone. Let's come together, parallel society if we have to, private societies, get the government out, deregister your companies and still react and interact with everyone, free trade, all that sort of thing. But from you personally, because you're of a man with a good heart. And like I said, you're in a privileged position. You could have just gone along to get along, but you didn't. You took the stand. Brave as hell, given the fact of the beast that we're up against. And not many people understand this beast like some of us do. So if you want any parting comments, how people can follow you, find out more about your company, if they want to decide to use you as opposed to all of these other Nazi sympathizers, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. Listen, I'd probably just extend on from what you've said and say to people, there will be decisions and things that you have access to and things that you can do. I think part of their game plan is always to keep people scattered. You know, there's an old saying called the fog of war. And make no mistake, we are at war. We are at war for our freedoms and the freedoms of our children. And the sooner people realize that reality, and the sooner people go, there is fog and you will feel foggy, try to rise above it, get some clarity, find out what you can do, and do not overthink it, because if you do, you'll find a lot of reasons why not. What you need to do is go, I know this is right. I don't know what's on the other side of it, but sure as hell, I'm just going to do what's right. And that is how we make real change, is just a lot of people doing what they know is right. I mean, everyone who's probably listening to this, a lot of people, yours and my age, we have what's called dependence. And they're called that for a reason, because they're depending on you and I to make wise decisions for our generation and for theirs. And if we can't take the time to turn that TV off, educate ourselves, or at least sit there and contemplate how we can make a difference in and of ourselves, then we are doing them an injustice. And so I would say to all business owners out there, forget deferring, deflecting, blaming, or thinking I can't because of this or I can't because of that, and just do what you know to be right, irrespective, because that way you will be on the right side of history moving forward, and you will be remembered for something. That's what we need, and that's what we need right now. How can people get in touch with me? Well, at this stage, my Facebook page is BGT Developments, which is, I guess, easy enough to find. If they like or follow my page, then I can try to communicate more through there, which I'll endeavour to. And from there are other people who are just emailing me direct. I have not been able to get to those emails, but what I would say is email anyway. And to any of you who are listening who have emailed me, I've read every single email for the last week. It's been very distracting, but I've been enjoying it all the same. But I've struggled to get any work done. But having said that, I would say to you, I generally try to at least read them, so I know where you are, I know who you are, I know what you're about, and I know your story. I can't respond to everyone, but I've asked my PA and some other help we've got to start compiling all of it into a spreadsheet, so I can at least keep details of people. And then if I can somehow, mobilize, or they can provide help to me or us or together, then I've at least got some way of contacting them and some way of very quickly being able to get in touch. So those are the two things I'd say. The most logical one, hey, just like BGT's Facebook page and keep up to date with us there.
That's brilliant. What can we say? That's Brian Gillett, Managing Director of BGT Developments. Find them on Facebook, like his page, interact as much as you can, and support all those who are actually laying down the challenge to the government to support you. New Zealand, we can win this, and we're going to win this. Let's pile that pressure on, because even in Jacinda Ardern's recent live, she's cracking up, because the weight of opposition against her now is mounting. We've got this sussed. We just have to let it play out now, but don't take our foot off the gas. Thanks, Brian. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you very much to you and all the team. Appreciate it.